Daybreak Show, Rock City, 101.9 FM, the voice of the people. Today, the 18th of May, 2017. Like I mentioned earlier, we'll be having the Honorable Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure in the studio this morning, Architect Olamilekan Adegbite. A lot is going on in that particular ministry. Talk about ongoing road project, the issues of new projects springing up here and there across the country. The issue of demolition of structures for this road expansion project. Of course, the issues, very contentious issue that has also turned controversial, is one that we would also be addressing this morning. And that's the issue of compensation, adequate compensation of those who are affected by this demolition and, of course, road expansion project. The issues of rural road construction and rehabilitation is also one thing that the people of Ogun State have talked about. If you go down the memory lane during the swearing in of His Excellency Senator Bikla Muson for the second term in 2015, he did made mention of that in his inaugural speech. He did make mention of the fact that rural roads will be given paramount attention in this second tenure of his administration. What exactly the state of these rural roads? What is actually delaying contractors moving to site for the construction of these rural roads? The issue of funding cannot also be divorced from this big projects that the state government also, you may want to use the word ambitious project that this state government is also embarking upon. Issues of loan facility which has been tabled at the floor of the House of Assembly. How far have they gone with securing many of these loan facilities so that they can actually channel this towards completion of this road project? These are some of the issues we'll be looking at this morning. Of course, the issue of basic amenities, just like water, of course, that also falls within the purview of the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, and you can also take that up with the Honorable Commissioner. Without wasting much time, and because we want you to also have the necessary avenue to take up the Honorable Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure on so many issues, we'll limit the time we would be asking questions here in the studio. So you can start sending your questions, your contributions, your comments straight to the shortcut number 32120. Type ROCK, leave a space, type your message, include your name, and then send it to 32120. Our social media platforms are also available on Facebook. Rock City FM 11.9 is our Facebook fan page. Drop by and post your comment. And then on Twitter, at Rock City FM is our Twitter handle. We only urge you to make sure you do so with decorum. Make sure your contributions are devoid of insult, and then don't come up with claims you cannot substantiate. It's very, very important that you stick to that rule. Before we throw open the studio lines, Honorable Commissioner, you're welcome to the Daybreak Show once again.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here again.
All right. I can tell Olamilekan Adegbite. The question bugging the minds of the people of Ogun State right now is that one thing seems to be very much peculiar with the administration of Senator Bikla Muson, and that is embarking on so many projects at the same time. And then you begin to question the rationale behind this, putting so many logs into the fire at the same time, and it seems that the progress, the pace of the work seems to be a bit slow. What exactly is happening?
Well, thank you. I think maybe to the ordinary observer it may seem so, but it's not necessarily so. I can confidently tell you that all projects, all programs that have been embarked on by the administration of Senator Bikla Muson, as you said, are well thought out. They're well planned ahead of time, and barring some exigencies, I mean, they all, of course, have their closure in foreseeable future. We've had challenges. Nobody could have foreseen what happened in 2016, particularly. It was a particularly very slow year. Income was very poor. It's a worldwide thing that has happened. And of course, this actually affected some of our programs. So if post that you could see us rolling out so many things at the same time, it's probably that we're slightly behind schedule in the way we want to introduce these things, especially because of the slowdown we had in 2016. But like I said, everything we are doing is well thought out, and of course, when you have a good plan, you have introduction, of course, and then you have an exit plan.
When you talk about having a good plan, does that also include uh, planning ahead as regards the source of funding? Because when you look at many of the projects you're embarking upon, is it that some of them are in limbo, some of them have been abandoned, or maybe contractors are yet to be mobilized to site? Uh, so when you talk about good planning, did you foresee this scenario whereby if source of funding will be a major problem?
You say planning, of course, involves funding, and I will maybe want you to elucidate on that word. You said abandoned. None of our projects are abandoned. You could say, like I said there was some unforeseen delay, especially last year. The slowdown actually started sometime in 2014. For people who are in the know, will know that it started in 2014. But of course, it reached the zenith in 2016, and I think we've taken the bend down. We're on the downward curve, and I think things will pick up again very soon. It's already picking up, and we should reach cruising speed very shortly. But despite that, none of our projects abandoned. Uh, there was a great slowdown in 2016, but activity is fully on now.
When you say none of your projects are abandoned, what exactly is the state of the Elisha Ijawibo Road and the Lusada Road now?
Elisha Agowe, that's what that project is called. It's not Elisha Jabubo Road. Elisha Agowe, if you go there today, workers are working there. Like I said,
Which construction company is handling that?
we had a contractor on that road. That was Messrs. Borini Prono. It's an Italian firm that was on that road. But we also have a Chinese firm. It's a dual thing that's actually constructing the bridges. There are 3 bridges on that road, and we're looking at end of July. All those bridges will be completed, and then work will, of course, resume fully on the roads to link the 3 bridges. As of today, the road is a 26-kilometer road. I think the road work itself has reached kilometer 13. But then that's where the first bridge is. And then, of course, there are 2 other bridges further down the road, which are about being completed. But there's adequate provision to complete that project.
And you believe that 13 kilometers remaining will be completed before July?
God willing, it should be. I didn't say, oh God, Toby, you need to be careful.
You said July.
I said the bridges that have been completed. Oh God, you need to pick your word.
You said July.
I said the word July.
Yes.
Yes, the word July is for the bridges. I said the 3 bridges will be completed by this July. Yes, I stand by that.
Okay.
Yes, by end of July, the 3 bridges along that road will be completed. And then, of course, work will resume fully on the construction of the roads to link the bridges. Like I said, we've done the work up to the first bridge. And of course, now the emphasis is on the bridges now. The 3 bridges are about being completed. By end of July, all the bridges should be completed. And then, of course, the road work itself, of course, will follow. The road work is faster. I mean, don't let me say faster, really. It's simpler than the bridge itself.
Recently, I passed through the Lusada road, and then it's a mess. What exactly are you doing?
Yes, the contract for it's the road is actually called Aton Agbara. It's I think it's about 12 kilometers, if I'm right. It's aborted, and the contractors are on site. But you see, like I said, there are some major nodes along that road, and that's the Lusada junction, which is very bad. And of course, because it's a major junction, there's always a very notorious node. I mean, there's always traffic and all that. So we're also introducing a great separator there, the so-called flyover bridge. And that is the focus now. The contractor is working at Lusada as we speak. And because the rains don't really disturb concrete work, so that should progress speedily along. And I think in a few months, I don't have off my cuff now the completion date for that bridge. But as soon as the bridge is completed, despite that, work has also started at Aton, where the road starts from. That's Aton is off the Idiroko road. from Aton. If you look now, I think about 400 meters out, they've already done the drain on the sides to establish the carriageway. And earthworks normally will slow down in the rain, because the ground is mushy and the equipment tend to sink and all that. But concrete work will proceed at pace right now, while thereafter, as soon as the weather permits, the earthworks will continue.
Now, I mentioned earlier the intention of the governor to focus on the construction of rural roads. He made that known during his inaugural speech in 2015. What exactly has hindered that intention?
Well, we're doing a lot on rural roads in terms of planning, but what has happened is our plan to construct the rural road sort of dovetailed into what the World Bank was planning. And I think I said this at different fora, especially when you mix business with the World Bank. It's a good thing, but then it's a very painstaking, slow process. The World Bank came in and they were interested. There's something called RAMP, which is Rural Access Mobility Program. And essentially, what the World Bank is doing is they're supporting states. It's not just in Ogun State, states within Nigeria, to have access into the rural area, especially the food basket, rural areas of every state. So they came in and sort of, I won't say took over, but wanted to collaborate with us. But then there is this painstaking process for them for that to materialize. And I think we've gone so far because you first identify the roads. There are certain criteria for identifying the roads to be done. We identify the roads. Then, of course, you have to get a consultant. Of course, we pay for the consultant, but the World Bank actually has a list of consultants that they trust. We get the consultant and pay, who will access all these roads and say, yes, okay, this road qualifies for this project and all that. And we did that. The next stage of that is to call a stakeholders meeting, which you did about a month ago or 6 weeks ago. Because apart from just identifying the World Bank wants to ensure that the people are comfortable and are in an agreement that you want to do that road and they want you to do it. So there was a stakeholders meeting, I think, at Obas Complex. We had it at Obas Complex maybe about 6 weeks ago, thereabout, where people were able to voice their opinion. Okay, these are the roads you want to do. You come from there. What do you think? You do want them to do it, or you prefer another road? And that's a process. We've just finished that process now. So the consultant has gone back based on the feedback from that stakeholders meeting, of course, to package this, and then it's now sent to the World Bank. The World Bank, of course, will go through some of its own processes and, of course, send the list back to us and say start. But realizing that time is not our friend, it's in the second year, in the second term. If you look in the papers today, there's a publication from Ogun State, and we've advertised for tenders for some of these roads, rural roads. I think there are about 171 of them. It's what we've done in the publication today. That I think is in 5 dailies today, is to have 3 roads per local government and the LCDs, totaling about 57. So 3 times 57 will probably get 171 roads have been advertised for tender. So we want contractors to tender for these roads and all that. Just the procurement process, fulfill all righteousness and all that. And very soon, people will be unleashed to start on this road. That is not taken away from the list with the World Bank. So when the World Bank is ready, of course, that program will also go on. But what we realized that we've waited too long and our people are becoming agitated. That's why we've taken this process outside the World Bank thing, and then we've gone to the press. I think the procurement law says minimum of 30 days for everybody to return their tender. So from the date of publication, we'll close this tendering process in 30 days' time, and then we'll process it, and then, of course, the contractors will be selected and jobs the project.
Is the World Bank financing this project?
No. That's what I'm saying. The one we want to do with World Bank is the ramp thing, okay, which of course is still undergoing a lot of processes with World Bank. Yeah.
So this particular project that you're talking about will be financed by the state government?
Yes, it will be financed by the state government.
Is it through loan facility?
You see, Toby, government has so many ways of making its money. I'm not really a financial expert, but we're doing very well when it comes to money.
Okay, let's come to the recent road construction being embarked upon by your administration. Enogada Daton Road, which is a very long stretch, and then you also have that which takes a turn at Mokola Junction and then goes straight to Ake Roundabout via Ilogun and Itoko. A lot of structures were demolished. I think that's a lot of structures were demolished in this long stretch of road. Now, the issue there is compensation. How far have you gone with compensating these people who had their structures and buildings demolished?
Well, let me first correct one impression. You said it's a long road. That road is actually about 5 kilometers. It may seem long. There's so many roads that we're doing currently in Ogun State that are much, much longer than that. We're doing a lot of 9-kilometer roads, 20-something kilometer road. The new road we're doing in Jebode now, that's
I'm talking about Belkota.
So really it's about 26 kilometers. No, I'm just saying that it's not a long road. By our own reckoning, it's just 5 kilometers of that stretch. But to get back to your question, basically, that road was earmarked for construction in 2013. And that's when those houses were marked for demolition and all that. And like I said, our compensation program actually started since then, I think 2012. So even there are people on that road who actually obtained their compensation since then, while some are just taking their compensation up. But compensation, like I said, is an ongoing thing. We keep paying compensation and all that. I think about 3 weeks ago, we pumped about £1 billion naira into the compensation program again. A lot of people, and of course this was shown, I think your station must have been invited as well. We gave it a lot of adequate publicity, let people come and see what was doing. And the governor has promised again to put another 1 billion into the program very soon. So compensation, like I said, is an ongoing thing. There are some people who had received their money in 2013 and were coming in 2017 to do the demolition, So they had long notices. Some of them had money. And I must admit that not everybody got their compensation, but a lot of people, especially now that we put in $1 billion again, we gave a lot of attention to that construction that I just started, and of course, a lot of people have obtained their money.
Yeah, I understand that it's done in phases, but at the same time, did you consider some who are extremely poor and who had nowhere to actually relocate for the meantime? Because we went round to some of these areas, and I actually interviewed some of these people. Some had to sleep outside overnight when that demolition was done. That, to some people, looked a bit insensitive. What are you going to do about that?
I'm sorry for what you have said. I won't say that's not totally accurate. Because I particularly, as a person, I went around, the governor himself went around up and down that street, despite the notices which have been given since 2013, with some people receiving their compensation as of that time. Well, see, the thing about people is that, when government says we're doing this and government does not come immediately, in fact, there was a lot of talk all over the town that they can't do it again. So the governor took it upon himself personally and walked the length of that road. That's the 5 kilometers. Sensitizing people that we're coming, giving them another week notice that we'll be coming to do this. Please, you need to move and all that. Now, what I did, with the whole team from Ministry of Works and of course from the land survey department as well, was to identify these indigent people that you're talking about. We went personally from house to house, and this is something that's not new. We've always done it. We rent houses for people. Apart from some people who have collected their compensation, what we do is we give them temporary accommodation. Personally, we've paid 2 years for some people. Okay, just go and stay here. Maybe you're using 1 or 2 rooms. Okay, rent these 2 rooms in this neighborhood that's not affected. So at least for the next 2 years, you have a place to stay. But you see, there was a situation. That's why I'm saying your story might not be totally inaccurate. But to a large extent, we covered all our bases. There are situations where you had some, because most of these houses are very old houses and no longer belong to one person. So there were cases where even money was paid, had to be shared. There are some families where, I won't mention names, I'm private too. While some members of the family, because these houses have devolved to the 3rd generation, they are saying, let's share the money. And some people in the family, respectable elders, say, no, let's rebuild what is left so that at least this is our foundation and all that. In such situation where there's a conflict, people will go about with different stories. The younger ones, especially the people in the third generation, even sometimes fourth generation, they want to move on. They're not concerned about the family house that belonged to their great grandfather. They want to move, so they want the money. While some elders say, no, this is our source. We need to be able to point to something. No matter how small, let's build something. I'm privy to some of those stories. No. So basically, that's it. It will be unfortunate, but such people, if it's brought to our notice, of course, we'll take care of them immediately. But especially on that day, when the demolition started, it was on a Sunday, and it was deliberately so that everybody would be at home. So that before the machines moved in, we kept walking up and down the street. I walked that length of that road several times, and especially the indigent people, and say, look, let's move you to this place. This is a safer place. And I mean, most houses is 2,000 naira per month for a room. So it's easier. You give somebody 50,000, which is for 2 years. Rent a room or rent 2 rooms and all that. I mean, the government made such available. This was outside compensation. This was just to be humane. And of course, to make sure that people are properly settled.
Honorable Commissioner, can you give us a timeline of when that particular road will be constructed?
According to the program of the contractor, it's an 18 to 24 months program.
18 to 24 months.
Yes.
All right. Let's look at the issue of funding. I recall that the state governor sent a request to the House of Assembly for a 65.7 billion loan facility. Have you been able to access that from the banks?
That's why I said the 65 billion was not a loan like that. Okay. You see, in the budget of the state for this year, they have several ways of funding the budget. Mm-hmm. There's the statutory allocation from the federal government, which comes in. There's the internally generated revenue, and of course, there's there's a term called by the financial people, but basically it's loans, grants, and stuff like that. They form the third part. So I think the totality of that is the 65 you are mentioning. That was in the budget. The reason for asking the assembly to okay that, which of course they've already done by passing the budget, they've agreed to government to borrow. But instead of going back to the assembly every time we want to talk to a bank, the process in the assembly takes some time, and there are some things we need to do. That's why we went back to them. Look, this thing you already passed. We need you to give us a resolution, which is this resolution is what is given to the banks.
That's backed by law.
Yes, backing it by law and all that. So basically, that was all done. It's not as if you are looking for 65 billion at once. So anytime you need to take money from a banking institution and all that, that is what will back you up. That's what that is all about. So it's not as if they're looking for 65 billion for one bank. No.
How would you rate the response from these banks, those that you've approached?
That's what I'm telling you. We are not looking for.
I know you're not looking for 65 billion naira, but at least you still need funding for this project from these commercial banks.
So far, so good.
Yes.
I think we are doing well. Things are looking better. I'm not sure we're exposed, at least recently. While I'm not the finance commissioner, it will be best to answer all this, and of course the office, the DMO, to answer exactly what the exposure is. But I don't think we are going anew to any bank in recent times, for all this. The 65 billion has been approved by the House of Assembly in the budget. They've now given it the backing by law. For instance, the World Bank, if they're going to give you money, it's part of that 65 billion. It comes from that. It's not just commercial banks. That's 65 billion. Even if it's a grant, it's part of that 55 billion. Basically, what that money is outside the ones you generate and what comes from the federal government. So that sum, it's the money that comes from those other sources, from loans. It will come from World Bank, Multilateral Agency, IFC. It will come from commercial bank as well. So basically, that's what that is.
Now, has there been any kind of modification as regards the what do you call it, the Shagam interchange, Abekta Expressway?
The Abekuta Shagam Road.
Abekuta Shagam Road. Yes.
What do you mean by modification?
Yeah, because initially you said you were going to build a 10-lane road. Has that been decreased? Are you still going ahead with the 10 lanes?
Well, so far, to the best of my knowledge, there's not been any change or departure from that.
It's still going to be 10 lanes.
Yes.
All right, Honorable Commissioner, let us look at the issue of allocation of shops, the shopping malls that you constructed, and of course you've commissioned. Very beautiful. But what exactly is causing the delay in the allocation of these stalls?
Allocation has been done. Allocation has been done. Let me say this. The response has been good, and that's encouraging to government. But I must say that maybe we did not expect so much in terms of the response. It's overwhelming. I'll just give you some examples. In Omida, we have 3 blocks. Each of the blocks has 90 shops, 30 per floor. And then, of course, they are all on 5 floors, ground plus 4. So it's just the ground and the next 2 that has shops. That's about 90. And then the top 2 are lettable spaces. They're more like offices. They're not into small shops. The bigger spaces. And I think each one has about 7. Okay, in Omida, we have 3 blocks. And 1 block is fully ready that was being allocated at 90 shops. The request in Omida that people took from at 10,000 naira, over 3,000 people applied for this. So number one, it was overwhelming. There's a problem already. If 3,000 people are applying for 90 shops, how do we begin to share that? Now, when eventually we did, which was caused what led to a bit of delay, when eventually this was shared, of course, there's no magic. You just have to give only 90 people. Of course, the remaining 2,910, of course, had issues. And of course, you had stories. But that's not even the big
How much did
surprise.
they pay? How much did each of them pay?
Oh, no, they've not paid anything so far. But the prices are determined. Government has decided to sell Omida at 3 million naira. The people who want to have Omida will pay, I think the first payment is about 1 million.
That's the down payment.
Down payment, because you're buying it totally.
It becomes
yours totally. It's something that's sold to you part of the finally. So, and the balance of 2 million, I think, is paid over 24 months. The same pricing for Chapon. Chapon is also at 3 million. You pay 1 million upfront, and then the remaining 2 million is paid over 24 months. But the smaller ones, the lockup shops, for instance, we are selling the lockup shop for 500,000 naira, and you only need to pay, I think, it's about 90,000 upfront. The remaining 400. There's lockup shop at Omida. Okay. There is lockup shop at Imo. There is lockup shop even at Itoko as well. So the lockup shops are different from the mall shops. Yes. The lockup shop sells for 500,000. You pay 90,000 now. Start. The remaining 410,000 you pay over 3 years. And then the stalls. The smaller ones, the stalls.
For the
and those ones are sold for 100,000. Okay. And you only pay 10,000 start, and for the next 3 years, you pay the remaining 90,000 spread over 3 years. Especially, it's been done so that it's made easier for the lower Akeda people and all that. But back to the question you asked, these shops are allocated. But what actually shocked me was I see people who got shops, and I think it's one of the things I heard one of your programs. People called me. Everybody, we have only 30 shops on the ground floor. So if I'm going to give 90 people shops, as of necessity, 60 people must be up. There's no magic about it. And because we didn't really know who is who, we just try to do it in a fair manner. A lot of people came back to me, I can't walk. I'm 70 years old. Why are you putting me upstairs? Your form does not say you're 70 years old. We only dealt with forms. You fill a form and you tell us what you sell. We'll try to aggregate people, and that's basically how the shops were allocated. But you see, there were a lot of vehemence and all that, especially on radio, people calling in, I'm something years old, why am I put on the first floor? Your form does not say you're something years old. And it doesn't say the next man is 20. Everybody's applied for a shop on a form, and you were even a lucky one among 3,000 to have been one of the 90 to get a shop. So that in itself, you should just be happy about, that you even got it all. So if you're complaining there on the first floor or you're the second floor, what of the man that applied, just like you paid the 10,000 and didn't get anything? So that is what I want people to appreciate. That look, government has realized that there is actually a lot of demand for this, and we want to do more. As soon as we find spaces. You recall that especially the one, in fact, all the shops that we built, the one at Omida, the one at Chapon, and the one at Ituku, also the one at Salegbeyi, was not really part of the road. the markets were demolished along the road. Now we needed to rebuild this market. We had to displace some families. We begged them, look, these family houses, let's remove them. We'll build these shops there, and we built flats for the family, because most of the family houses were empty anyway, and they were not habitable. So what we did was that, you see, it was a good deal for a lot of people. We're going to rebuild, instead of your family house that nobody goes to, you just point to, it's derelict, and some of them are falling down anyway, dilapidated and falling down. Okay, let's take you into a flat, 2-bedroom flat. So even if you are visiting Abeokuta in future, you don't have to go and stay in a hotel. It's a modern flat, 2-bedroom en suite. We have power, you have water. You can go and stay there. So if any member of the family is coming from out of town, they have a place to stay. And that's what we did. So we displaced some families to build those markets, and we settled those families in a more efficient manner. When they were spreading on the ground, we have those high rises that we have at Omida, we have that at Itoku. We also have that at Salegbe, because I think only one family was displaced there. So that's what we did. And of course, at Chapon, some families were displaced.
Now, Honorable Commissioner, I heard you mention that those who apply for this allocation pay 10,000 naira.
Yes, for the mall shop.
For the mall shop.
For the people who apply for the stores, they paid 1,000. And then people who apply for the lockup, they paid 5,000.
Now, if you could only allocate 30 shops out of the
90, I said, out of
for the malls.
Yeah, yes, for the malls.
For the malls.
Yes.
So that gives that leaves us to about 2,910.
People that yes.
What do you do to those?
Basically, there are two things we're considering now. Like I said, we still have additional 180 shops coming up. Yeah, to me that is 1990 in the 2 other blocks, because we have 3 blocks A, B, C. So additional 180 people will still get. But the governor has said that anybody that doesn't get a shop, please refund that money. Government does not need this money. So this money was actually paid to a special account. It didn't go to government revenue. So people who applied for shops just paid and then went to
so they're going to get
the money's there.
Back.
Yes, that's what the governor has instructed. So if by the time this other 2 and those ones that are coming up again are finally built, because we're still trying to build more, we're looking for space to build more. The response will be overwhelming, like I said. In Itoku, for instance, we have only 130 shops. I have over about 1,600 applications for Itoku. And only in Itoku, we only have 130 shops. It's 26 shops per floor, and we're on 5 floors. And of course, I have that complaint as well. People, the lucky one out of the 1,800 or so people that applied for Itoku, the 130 people that were successful, a lot of people are complaining, you put me on the 4th floor. There are only 26 shops per floor. So only 26 people can be on the ground floor out of 1,800. I can only put 26 on the ground floor. So what do I do? And like I said, your form does not come out with your age. It just tells us what you sell, what you do, and we try to aggregate them. And that's basically what we've done.
What's your plan for Pansheke, which is gradually becoming a very serious commercial hub? Do you plan to?
Yes, the governor has instructed that we should look at Pansheke as well. There's something they call Junta Market there or something. That's we're looking at that space. Pansheke is becoming, like you said, a commercial hub. Is becoming even a hub for a transport node, because the train itself that we're trying to do is going to end there. The depot and the terminal point is in what they call the Blaze memory area. So it's going to be, we're doing intermodal thing. The train comes there and the vehicle comes there, buses and all that. So we're also building pedestrian bridges around there now, because we've had cases where, because of the network of roads so wide at that point, you have some roads about 12 lanes wide at that mouth with a bell mouth construction at that area. So we're trying to do pedestrian bridges to prevent accidents with pedestrians. We're also looking, of course, for such a hub. Necessarily, there will be a lot of commerce generated. We're also looking to build a market for our people there as well.
Like a shopping mall.
Well, what we've realized is a mix. Okay. While there's the high demand for the mall, there's also a high demand for lock-up shops, and even for the stalls. So it's going to be a hybrid. Whatever we do there is going to be a hybrid. You have to satisfy our people. For instance, somebody unknowingly applied for the mall shop and got one, but came to me and said, no, this is not the shop I want. This guy, what I want to do, I prefer the lock-up shops and all that. I said, well, unfortunately, we explained it. You bought a 10,000 naira form, and that's what you were given. You're lucky to get that one, but wanted a lock-up, which was supposed to be 5,000 form, because we actually distinguished them. And then, of course, if you want a stall, you just pay 1,000 for your own form. And of course, we are looking into what we can do for such people, because we've done the allocation and all that. So when we build more, we may accommodate them. That is why
we're not saying immediately refund all the money, because when you build, I believe it's the same body of people who have applied now. So you may not necessarily say apply again. When you build at Basheke, then you can begin to fix people there based on what you have on ground.
I've not heard you talk about your plans for Adato Shelley Road. It seems you've abandoned the residents in this area. The road has always featured in the plans of this administration from the first term, but nothing has been done, Honorable Commissioner.
Now I begin to read what you're not saying, because then you begin to talk personal. The road that leads to your place. Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, Honorable
Commissioner,
Road does not lead to Rock City FM. That's
That's what Yoruba said.
There's
nothing like...
there's no point in my hand, actually. We are here in this.
There's nothing wrong with self-preservation. No, look, you want a good thing for your place. So it's a good thing.
No,
that's not the question.
You know that right now in Abeokuta, this is the most densely populated area. It's growing into a new city. On your way to Ibadan, I think the state government should be looking at developing a new city along this road. If you look at the level of vehicles that ply this road, look at the traffic on that road, not only the morning, but also from, let's say, 3, 4 till night, around 9:30, 10. So you begin to see the importance of that road, not because of any company somewhere, well, that's
on a lighter note. Yes. So I assume I got all your feathers.
What exactly are you doing about the road?
Well, there is no empirical data to actually back up what you've said. Yes, it seems so. But I can tell you, there's another growth axis within the city, and that's the axis of Rounder. You see, what has happened is I must admit that maybe not necessarily this is government. We have government in the past have shacked their responsibility in terms of actually controlling development. Well, a lot of development along these axes occurred without government intervention, planning and all that, and that's why we are arresting that now along the Rounder axis, because that's another axis of growth. But of course, government intends to do that road. When that contract was awarded initially, when it came in, it was called Ojiri Adato. We extended that to Ashero. And that is initially was to Ashero High School. But we looked at it, like you said, all the development that's taken over on that axis. And we've now extended that contract to Alabata, the Camp Junction. That's the Vodap Junction. So that is where that project will end now. We're hoping and praying that we're able to complete it to that point before. You see that at least we've done that road up to Adato now, which was the original contract. Mm-hmm. Now, the work that's been done now, the phase where the contractor is now, we've asked them to take it to Moore Junction, which is in Ashero. They're going to take it to just beyond Moore Junction to Ashero High School. That is actually the next phase. And of course, hoping that we'll be able to release more funds for them. They'll keep taking it. Maybe I think the next node is Elewiron. We said, okay, take it to Elewiron from Elewiron. And you keep advancing around to get to the Camp Junction, Alabata, as they call it. So basically, there's a plan to do that road. And I'm sure you guys will benefit from it.
Which guys? Commissioner. All right, we'll have to go to break for the national news at 10. After national news, we'll come back, and then it will be the time for you to actually ask your questions or make comments or whatever it is you want to bring to the notice of the Honorable Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Olamilekan Adegbite. Keep sending your messages to 32120. Our Twitter handle remains at Rockset FM, and our Facebook page, Rockset FM 101.9. Stay with us, we'll be back. Welcome back to the other half of the Citizens Forum segment of the Daybreak Show. We still have in the studio the Honorable Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Architect Olamilekan Adegbite. We are going straight to the calls, the comments on our Facebook page, the tweets, and the messages coming in via the short code. In case you still want to send your own message, via the short code 32120 is the shortcut number. Type rock ROCK, leave a space, type your message, include your name, and send to 32120. We have comments already coming in via the Facebook page. Daybreak Bashir wants to know this. Honorable Commissioner, sir, those who paid the 10,000 naira to get form were not allocated. What will be their compensation? Will the state government return the money if they didn't get the shop? And also, can you give us the correct figures of roads that are set aside for construction since the inception of this administration, and how many of them have been completed so far? Okay, that's for the messages. So let's go straight to the tweets. Oh, you want to quickly address that?
Well, I think I said it. Those who didn't get shops will be refunded the money. As per number of roads, it keeps growing. Like I said in today's dailies, we just advertised about 171 roads, rural roads, and then some 25 semi-urban roads have been advertised for work to be done on them. So it's a growing list. The longer we're here, the more we realize certain roads should be done.
All right, let's take this call.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Tobi.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Commissioner, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Nkom. I'm calling from Ashurisi.
Thank you so much, sir.
Mr. Commissioner, I'd like to thank this government, not because I'm a psycho fan, but because you've done so much. I'll give you 3 examples. The government just came in the Yoruba State and said they could not pay salaries, that the civil servants should forgo salary of, is it 4 months or 5 months, as a sacrifice. That did not happen in Ogun State. You paid all the salary as I went due, even the deductions, which was creating problems. I thank you for that, and the government for that. Number 2, the lock-up shop. You said people who could not access those shops or who were not lucky, the money will be refunded. I don't know where that is done in the whole world, sir. Even JAM doesn't refund fees if you don't pay. You know, talk of government looking for money to work. That to me is something which I don't know. If people don't know, we outsiders know that you've done so much. Number 3, I have to thank you for this. Number 2 the road, which are completing. People call it abandoned property. I said no, it's work in progress in Ogun State. I am thanking you. If we were in a process, if we had our powers, we will nominate this government for another side. You've done so well. You may not know. I can base a case and see what happens. With little money, with what you're having, and what you have been able to do, and people are still not satisfied, I don't know what will satisfy them. Anyway, nothing satisfies all human beings. But I have to put it that you've done so well, sir. People may not know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for alleviating our suffering in Ogun State. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Let's have another call. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Olamilekan is the name, calling from Abeokuta. I want to appreciate your presence, Mr. Commissioner, sir.
Thank you and good morning.
Quite commendable. And for every government, supposedly, and we understand that governance is multiple. But for every government, there is always a strong point, a strong area, a strong capacity, which are shown in the infrastructural development of the state, despite the efforts in other areas like agriculture, education, health, and all the rest. But given the area of your interest, I want to appreciate the development so far. I think governments, successive governments coming to this state will have to struggle seriously to meet up with the standard of jobs that have been done in terms of infrastructure for the interest of the citizens. Hopefully, this situation will be a continuum as expected. But Tobi has asked you a question about Ashiro Road to Alabata. I will take you up on the Randa Road. I don't live there, so that it won't become a banter. I've listened to radio variously, and the people around Lafenwa Randa Road have complained variously. Obviously, I've visited the place and I've seen the developments around Lafenwa. Serious development going on there. And from the Ayitoro garage to Premier, there is also a serious development. In fact, it has been paved. It has been started. But there is this possible fears of those living around that place that it seems it's going to be a kind of isolated development that between the Premier garage and Christian area, for instance, there might not be development. They are afraid. And I suppose it may not be so. Could you please come out and explain and reassure the citizens around that area that the development will stretch as far as the capacity goes onward beyond even the Christian university? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
My name is Olushola Johnson.
All right, Shola Johnson.
The Honorable Commissioner, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning and welcome.
Yes, my question is, for how long will it take you to complete all the ongoing projects, and then particularly Lafenwa Ayetoro Road? Will that road be completed? Be very honest with me, please. That road, we've suffered on that road a lot, and then we want something to be done on it. Will the contractors come back to site, especially from the premier end up to Randa? Will that work be done? Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Olushola
All
Johnson.
right, let's take one more call so that we allow the commissioner to react quickly. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Tobi.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Honorable Commissioner,
Good morning, sir.
good morning. We believe much in you. I know that you are
Emeka.
doing it. My name is Emeka, aka Big Daddy from Adiola Way. Hello?
Hello, go ahead.
Emeka.
In fact, I don't know what to call this our able governor. He promised he's going to do it, and he's doing it. May God help him.
Amen.
And strengthen to the end.
Thank you so much.
You see, it's a very good thing that I want you to understand. Please follow me to go to Ibadan. We have a legendary market. You go to Lagos, we have it 2 months and so on and so forth. That kind of market is not here. We only having 4 days or 5 days in Taba market. And this is no longer a village. It has been developing more. I don't know if you understand.
I do.
So now, all those complexes cannot be enough for people here. Ajimobi has started doing it at Oliole. We can even appeal to governor to help us to do one in this place. Number one. Number two, there is the mistake the government is doing. When they come, they see somebody that come from abroad. Today they were posing to be a minister of transport or whatever. They never tried public transport before. How can he hear the crying of his people? And secondly, you know what is happening in Ogun State today? I know they haven't believed in our governor, they will believe him. They shouldn't forget the speed breaking on some of all those roads that are destroying people's lives. So that is my comment this morning.
All right,
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Emeka, we'll start a while with the calls. Quickly address this.
Okay. Well, from the questions I have here, thank you, Dr. Nkam. Mostly was comments. I think from the Facebook page, Bashar said the street lights come on occasionally when people visit. Most of these jobs, the street lights are work in progress. Government is working on its own PPP with some other people. That is, we are getting some people to generate power, and government only pays. I don't want to go into the issue of we had one before we didn't use and all that, but as soon as this power is in place, which is going to be very soon, we've had some fitting problems. We've had trial runs, and the power is good. As soon as it's on fully, these street lights will come on fully all the time, every night. So it won't be just occasional. What we do now is that when we have festivities, it's not just when important people are coming to town. That's around Christmas, New Year, Easter, the Muslim celebrations as a layer, and the Ramadan thing, the end of Ramadan. We'll make sure that during the festivities, we put on the street lights. We go out to hire generators and fuel them, and of course, make sure they are common. But very soon, the lights will be on a permanent basis in the night. Completion of road projects. Of course, like I said, they are all planned. We intend to complete them, barring unforeseen. I think 2 people have asked about this Lafenwa rounder. And I dare to tell you that, look, that road will be completed. Somebody called in, I think it was this radio station some time ago, and said the contractor has left site again. No. That project is called Lafenwa Ayetoro project. So the project is actually from Lafenwa Junction there all the way to Ayetoro. And the project started in 2013. If you go to Ayetoro now, the whole of Ayetoro has been completed, and it's been done all the way to Olorunda. Now, we now said, let the contractor come back and start from the Lafenwa end. Haven't done the Ayetoro end. That's why they started from Lafenwa. But we had issues when they started around Lafenwa. So they jumped and went to walk around those areas that you see that are tarred now. Some people are saying maybe it's because of Crescent that we have tarred some area and all that. What happened was that you see, the market around Lafenwa created a problem with Zoom. But more importantly, they could have started just after the rail line. But the army barracks that are there, the expansion was going to affect them. And there are some peculiarities with the army. They have some ordinances that are around the fence there, which of course could not be handled by ordinary people. They had to get their own specialized people to move these things in a safe way. That in itself, we paid a lot of money for that, and it's been done. That is why the contractor jumped forward and started where the railroad started. Now, what they've done when they came back immediately is to secure what they had done in the past. They had done up to stone base, so that the stone base will not be eroded again. They had to apply fresh stone base and, of course, put asphalt. With that sealed, they went back to Lafenwa. The contractor has not left site. It's one project, and their mandate this time is to take it up all the way onto Rounder. God willing, that will be done. They are at Lafenwa now. If you see them, we are creating a 6-lane lay-by, because one of the problems we realized at Lafenwa with the new road we did with 33 lanes, taxi drivers, they still park indiscriminately. So you find out at night or in the evenings or early mornings, you have only one lane left for thoroughfare. Vehicles that are going through can only use one lane. The taxis indiscriminately, they'll park on the other 3 lanes, because apart from 3 lanes, we also have a parking lane. They use the parking lane and 2 of the lanes meant for driving. So that is what is happening. For that, we've taken a lesson from that. Around the Lafenwa, going towards the rail line, towards Rounder, we've created a 6-lane lay-by. If any taxi driver comes out and stay on the road, it will be sanctioned. So they will be able to stay in the lay-by. That's why that road is very wide at that end. The police station at Lafenwa is being rebuilt. We are removing the police station to create a lay-by. That's why if you look beside the police station, and we are building a new station for them, which will be more modern and bigger than what they have. So all this is what we are doing for our people. And I think that answers the Lafenwa thing. You see, how long will it take to complete all the roads? God willing, we hope to complete all these roads before the expiration of the second tenure. Of course, Big Daddy, you said you want more markets to be built. We are working on that. As soon as we get space, we'll build more. But right now, we are focusing on other parts of the state. We've gone to Jebode. We've identified a place around the local government. We've gone to a place around Shagamu. We've identified a place in Ilaro, an existing market there. And that's what we're doing, trying to spread the gospel all over the state on the markets. Of course, we want to build more. We know that the population is here, we build the capital. We'll build more as soon as we get the space in the right area that people will use. We don't want to build a market that will become a white elephant project. People will not go there. So you need to build where people want to sell, not just anywhere you get. If we can go and find land around on the way to Shiun and build market. Nobody will go there. So we need to build in areas where people want to sell. So exactly that's what we're doing now, and we're working on it. Thank you so much.
All right, let's go straight to the messages also. We have a whole lot of messages. It's only God that will help us to take care of everything. This one says, okay, this message just came in. According to the Meteorological Service, they said there's going to be heavy rainfall, which will result in massive flood, and listed Ogun State as one of the states that is going to be affected by the flood. I am hereby using this medium to appeal to the state government to please address or make formidable assistance to all the flood-prone areas and communities that have been devastated by flood, especially Oyalowo Street at Olomowewe off Lantoro Road. The situation of this street is pathetic, and eyesore to both the tenants and the landlords. Even visitors complain, especially whenever it rains. Kazim Oladipupo sent in that one. All right. This one says, what I feel the government should have done before demolishing people's houses is to build low-cost houses where the people affected by the road expansion can be relocated to. I really feel for those affected, and I hope government will do the needful to alleviate the suffering of these people. Olufemi Ogunjobi from Okiata sent in that one. Good morning, architect. Sir, you still remain my man, and I believe all what you've promised. But if you disappoint me, I will personally sue you. Olamilekan Joseph sent in that one. Good morning, sir. What is going to happen to Randa Yetoro Road because the contractors are no more on site? Ola from Randa. I think that has been handled. Bamdele Tewobola says Old Akomoje Road. Sir, Okweju Road is okay. Is Okweju Road not part of Ogun State? Please look into it. Okay, that's Bamdele Tewobola from Akomoje. All right, this one says, good morning, sir. The governor marked the road for Shomori of Bantoku to OGTV since 2015. He said that the governor will not construct that road. That's Wali from Bantoku. Those are inner roads that we talked about earlier. This one says, it's like the state government has easily forgotten the promises made to the people living in rural areas in terms of construction of roads in rural areas. Attention of state government has been shifted from people living in rural areas to urban areas because urban people enjoy dividends of democracy than rural people in terms of good roads. A typical example of a rural area that has been denied good road since the beginning of this civilian government is Okeagbede Iwoyi Road in Emekwa for local government. BC Maridi sent in that one. Honorable Commissioner, we appreciate the effort of the present administration in Ogun State in terms of road construction and provision of adequate security. Our governor said recently that he has dipped his hand into the money set aside for the construction of roads to offset workers' salaries and arrears. But in page 24, 25, and 26 of today's Punch newspaper, government requested for bids of 171 rural roads. Do you think this could be achievable in addition with all the recently demolished buildings for road construction in Abeokuta with the little time that this government has in office? Is it not going to be an abandoned project? Shobade Lukman from Idiaba sent in that one. And this one says, during the election 2015, when Governor Musu needed a vote at Okiata Mangoro, he promised us that our road will be constructed. Governor Musu said this in Ibarra, really. The road is no longer motorable. Honorable Commissioner, for people of Okiata, we are not fools. In 2018, you will need a vote again. Shola sent in that one. Engineer Joseph says, good morning, Honorable Commissioner. I want to know what is going on the construction of the former government secretariat at Ibarra, opposite OPIC office. The work over there has stopped in the last 1 month. Okay, and this one says, good morning, Honorable Commissioner. I want to know the plan of the government on the Elite Road, Ijaba, because the rain is fast approaching. Engineer Ola sent in that one. Honorable Commissioner, sir, we saw your contractor at Ayetoro Garage around the road after laying the asphalt between Oluomo and Premier Grammar School. The contractor then moved all the equipment away. What happened, sir? Honorable Commissioner, your comments that past governments shirk their responsibility by not identifying with fast-growing areas. I want to know what your government is doing to Elega Budiolude area, which is now being highly congested. Obalan who sent in that one. Honorable Commissioner, why is your government is full of abandoning projects? Because some of the roads you have abandoned since 2012 and 13 are still there without being completed until today, and you're still embarking on many new ones. Is it that you're going to abandon this by 2019 for the new government that is coming in? Comrade Taiwo, where fast sent in that one. Good day, sir. What about Itoku Ajitadun Road? Are you still going to construct it, or you have abandoned it because people's houses have been demolished? Khalifa Ganiu Abubakar sent in that one. Honorable Commissioner, can you please tell us the criteria used in selecting the beneficiaries of the payment of compensation that started on the 2nd of May? Where will those of us whose forms have been processed and submitted since 2013, like the current beneficiaries, have our own turn? Thank you and remain blessed. Adiosho sent in that one. And this last message says, Honorable Commissioner, good morning. Please, I want you to clarify the issue of Lafenwa Yutoro Road. The road construction was stopped at Premier School. Why is it so? Because the remaining portion is the worst. Okay, we'll put a break on the messages now. Commissioner, quickly.
Okay, I think
that overlapping questions. So
yes, I think you've answered Lafenwa Yutoro. Yes, just to say it again because maybe people did not hear that. It's the same project that starts from Lafenwa and goes all the way to Aetoro. what the contractor has done around Premier is to secure the job they've done there. They did stone-based work there. They needed to put asphalt over it to protect it so it doesn't get eroded again. The only reason why they jumped from Lafenwa to that place was because of the army barracks, and I think I've explained that. So please, the road will be completed from Lafenwa all the way to Roundup. Please be assured of that. Somebody's talking about flood prediction by NIMET, and we'll look into that. We thank God that with the work we've done in Ogun State generally, flooding has greatly reduced, even in those flood-prone areas. But you particularly mentioned your area. I will tell the concerned agency, which is the Environment Ministry, to look into that so that our people are not affected by flooding. Somebody suggested, why didn't you build low-cost houses as a replacement for the people? We're doing that. But what happened is that in most cases, people's houses are not demolished completely, and people prefer to stay where they are. So you've had cases where people just repair the rump of the house. What is remaining, they repair and still live there. In cases where those houses are belong to generation, they want to maintain that location so they can refer to it as their source. So that is why you can't just uproot people, because we're going to build houses, then we're going to start building in places where we have land, and that is the growth axis now is towards Shagamu, after the PMB estate. If you take somebody who is living at Shage or Elega and say, oh, you've built a new something for them at Shiun, they won't want to go there. There's a lot of sociology that's in place when you're doing this kind of projects, and of course that's what we consider. Okpeji Road, of course, I must admit that we can't do all the roads, but Okpeji Road is in one of the roads that was advertised today. God willing, that road will be done. Show money or Ban Toko Road. Yes. You said government has marked it since. Yes, we did. And that time we had an offer from a contractor who was going to build that road, with funding from abroad. Unfortunately, the arrangement fell through. We couldn't do that. I hope we'll be able to go back to that road before we leave office. That's why the road was marked then. The contractor was going to fund it and then realize his money gradually by some other means. Rural roads, and of course, it's achievable. Like I said, if you look in today's papers, there are about 5 of them. Punch is one of them. Tribune is another one. This Day, Nation, and I think Vanguard. We have about 171 roads. That's 3 from each local government and LCDAs to be done. These are rural roads that our contractors, indigenous local contractors, should be able to handle, and they should do in a quick period. So we hope to do that as well. Okeata Mangoro. We are looking at Okeata Mangoro, and I think it's one of the roads that's being considered as well. So the promises made by the governor, I pray we'll be able to fulfill it before the expiration of this time, so that you can give us your vote in 2018. City Center, Okelewo. City Center is actually more of a private investment. Land was sold to somebody out of and they are building what you call a shopping center there. So work is ongoing. I think our contractor has finished the leveling. They're about to start construction proper on the building, but it's more of a private thing, and it's not a government business. Elega Bodeolude area, you said, because I said development was indiscriminate in some areas, and I think it's going on at Elega now. We are strengthening our inspectorate department of the urban and physical planning to control development in all these outlying areas, and I think we're doing a good job on that, if I must say so myself. Abandoned roads, no road is abandoned. I would have preferred if you had mentioned a particular road. Like I said, we had challenges in 2016, and we slowed down, but work is back up. And I did that in Toku Road. Yes, the houses there have been marked. It's the road that will be done. It's been added to this and Nugada Datsun Road project. So it's an add-on, and it will be done. But we told the people in the area, please do not remove your roofs yet. We're coming. We'll give you adequate notice. What we've done now is to sensitize you that the road will be done. But before we come in for demolition, we'll alert you so that you can begin to remove what you can salvage from your houses. And compensation is an ongoing process. Like I said, it's arbitrary. This thing is not as if you know anybody that's collecting compensation. I pray and hope that you get your compensation very soon. Thank you.
All right, let's go straight to the tweets. This one says, Taiwo Tonolokwe says, I want to commend the state government for upgrading infrastructures to the states. Please kindly sensitize people on the use of sideways on the roads. The state government should complement the Ogun standard roads with overhead bridges and street lights to help pedestrians and motorists. Kunle Gab tweeted this. Please help me ask Architect Adegbite, you should be very sincere. What have these construction companies do for him as appreciation? What has he benefited? Maybe a mansion or Hilltop's mansion somewhere. Taiwo Tolulokwe says, what is your ministry doing to take off hawkers and sellers of products occupying the sidewalk ways at Shapon, Ituku, Agoko, and Pansheke? And Amobade Emi says, Honorable Commissioner, as you said, 3,000 people applied for 90 spaces in the media. Why is government still selling form to the people?
Stop selling form since.
All right, Abbe Fagbemi says, okay, can we be taking this one after the other? So I think it will be faster that way. Kolega wants to know whether you've been compensated by these companies.
I think that's a tricky question. I think it's beneath me to answer that. Please go ahead.
Okay, so Lokwe is talking about pedestrians, street lights on pedestrians to help motorists.
Yes, you can see that it's part of our standard roads. We put in pedestrian walkways, that's second on, and of course there are street lights. And I think I answered that. The street lights will be on fully at the moment. Our power, the PPP that we are doing, comes on stream.
All right, the issue of evacuating hawkers.
Yes, it's a continuous thing. We're trying to put a human face to it. Okay. Yes, people are selling on the walkway. The Ministry of Environment is constantly going there, sensitizing people that look, the markets, the stalls are meant for them. They need to go inside the market and stop selling on the walkways. The walkways are meant for pedestrians and not for sellers.
All right, Abbe Fagbemi says, Mr. Commissioner, sir, we know that the state is busy for infrastructural improvement, but please, in Jakauke, people need your urgent visits. Even if you can't come, please send your people to come and inspect our road, because in Jaka, people nearly lost their focus in this area of government, you meant, Abbe Fagbemi. And this one says, okay, still Abbe Fagbemi, since 1870, Jakauke people have been suffering about this bad road. Please come to our rescue.
Well, I promise that at least I'll have people come and look at it. In Jakauke, I think if it's not one of the roads listed by the SCDAs, we could check on the papers today, because what we asked the SCDAs to do is to identify roads in the areas that need urgent attention. So we have 3 roads by LCDAs / local government.
Okay.
We're going to fix those ones.
All right. Odumade Oluwaseun says, good morning. Why did the construction work of the pedestrian bridge going on at Pansheke Market stop?
Yes, the construction work at Pansheke has not stopped pedestrian bridges. If you recall, myself and the governor visited the place and accompanied him there some 2 weeks ago. The governor has asked for more landings. What we had there before were 2 bridges with 4 landings. That is, you could climb or come down in 4 places. But the governor has asked for additional landings to make it more convenient for our people. So we've gone back to the drawing board to redesign the bridges there. And what we're coming up with is something that is beautiful to behold, and people will really love it. We're going to come back to site very shortly, and I think we're having about 6 to 8 landings now for our people to make it more convenient.
All right, Yemi Da Vinci tweeted this. We should all admit that the high oil prices between 2011 and 2015 made the Amos administration very ambitious, which is not necessarily bad. However, the ambition could have been better managed since 2015, else Ato Agbara Road will be finished before the 10-lane road started. I live in Abeokuta, and inner city roads are all bad. Commissioner, can we have something like Ogroma to fix them, please? Lantoro Elite. The people working in Lagos and staying in Ifo and Obafe Wode local government need attention too, Commissioner. The roads are very despicable. Lastly, Commissioner, please help us construct speed breakers at Idiaba and Olorushogo, Abiola Way Road. Hope to see you contest for governor. Okay, that's Yemi Da Vinci. You want to quickly address that?
Okay, the inner city roads, we're trying our best. But you see, you don't do inner city when you don't do the main roads first. If you don't do the main roads, which benefits a lot more people, you have to come from the larger to the smaller. And that's what happens. Like I said, government is a continuum. We're doing our best now. When all the major arterial roads are done, the ones we're able to do, the inner roads will do. But then, of course, the incoming administration will begin to, because you can't redo what has been done, you begin to focus on inner roads. And of course, this is a long-term plan that we've put in place. The civil servants are on board, so they'll be able to carry on that policy.
And in the next, I pray in the next 20 years, Ogun State will be something that everybody will be very proud of in terms of infrastructural network.
All right.
Speed breakers, of course. Yes. Speed breakers are necessity. Well, even necessities, because the essence of doing the road is actually to make vehicles flow freely. But what we found out is that drivers, road users, they don't follow instructions. They overspeed because the roads are good. It doesn't mean because the road is good, you go at excessive speed. So as of necessity, we are putting speed breakers here and then. But something we are reluctant to do because, of course, it also impede movement. So we'll do where it's necessary.
All right. Ogundare Sunday says, Honorable Commissioner, can you say authoritatively that the road is of standard? Okay. Dafa Olusegun Ismaila says the unprecedented infrastructure upgrade happening in Ogun State is highly appreciated. Bravo. Long live Ogun State. James Ajibade says, if the building is from a private individual or a common man in town, sir, if you're in charge of urban and regional planning in Ogun State, will you approve the ongoing high-rise building at Ibadan roundabout? Okay, if you were to be an urban and regional planning guru in Ogun State, okay. Bankole Sunday says, good morning, Commissioner. What purpose of the pedestrian bridge at Shokori is serving, and why is the place always locked up? Okay. The Olusegun says, how soon will the final asphalt laying on this newly constructed road be done? James Ajibade once again says, sir, if you are in charge, okay, I think I mentioned that earlier. Ogundare Sunday once again, sir, most of the drainages have been blocked. What is the government doing about it? Lawal Monsuru says, sir, what are you doing about Magboro town? The government has not been fair to the people in Magboro. The contractor there is a fraud. Okay, I think that's the much we can take. You want to quickly address that?
Okay, let me just say this.
Calls.
Well, I just say that our roads are standard roads. They don't come any better than this internationally. The building at Ibadan roundabout, I think, is a building that has planning approval, so they must have considered all that is to be considered before approving that building to be constructed. Pedestrian bridges at Shikori, we've learned a lot of lessons from that. We got innovation from other places and decided to bring it here. It's not fully worked the way we intended it, but we're working. The other ones that we're going to do are going to be slightly different. And at the same time, I must say this, you need to compel people to use pedestrian bridges. Everywhere in the world, it's human. We go for the easier alternative, though it might be risky crossing roads. So we may do something yet about that. Final shortly, it's an ongoing process. It's the last thing that will happen. Block drainage, that's an indictment on yourself in that neighborhood. That is the essence of these environmental Saturdays. Citizens are supposed to clear the drainage in their areas. But Ministry of Environment is doing its best, but you need to help government as well. Our sanitation depends on us. We don't have to wait for government before we clean our neighborhoods. Magboro Road, I think the people in Magboro would differ with you. They were in my office on a visit to thank government for what they are doing. So I don't know who you are. You say the contractor is a fraud, and I think that's uncharitable. You don't castigate people, especially when they cannot respond. The contractor there is doing his best within his limits, and the people in the area appreciate him. The job will be completed very soon. Magboro Road, I can assure you.
All right, let's take these calls. Hello, good morning. Who's on the line? Hello.
Good morning. Tobi.
Good morning. Who's on the line?
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I'm calling from my daughter.
All right.
Yes, I'm fine, sir. Commissioner, I want to thank you sincerely for what you have been able to do in Ogun State under the able leadership of Senator Ogun. We've not been having any people like this before he came on board. Truly, you cannot do everything. You cannot do it all. You know, our people are so funny. You cannot satisfy everybody, but majority. Why am I saying this? People have been saying, is it the only road that will do in Ogun State? Is it the only road that will be the only infrastructure that will put in place? And still, some people are still clamoring for coming to their area and fix their road. And that is the nature of human being for us. But what I'm just trying to tell you this morning is to please see a way in which we can please on this road, I mean the ongoing road, and complete it once and for all, so that at the end of the day, people will not say, oh, those are abandoned. You understand?
Thank you so much. We'll intend to do that.
Yes. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Tobi. My name is Kazim.
All right,
I'm
Kazim,
calling
go
from
straight to
Abeokuta.
your submission.
Mr. Commissioner,
Good morning. Thank
don't
you
you
for
think
calling.
is an fraudulent attitude from the government side? So I am allocating a shop of 90, according to what you said, Asomida, and you collected a form of 3,000. And you people knew that shop is 90. Why did you go to the extent of giving form to 3,000?
My brother, we didn't give form to 3,000. People bought forms.
Number two, tell me where those contractors are now from Bishop Bagowe. Tell me exactly where they are now. Then I'll call you and tell you the situation of that place. That's number two. Number three, remember you came on this program last year.
Yes.
You are telling me that the model school that are building, 5 or 6 is going to ready. Mr. Commissioner, tell me 5 or 6 of that model school that is ready now. 4, you are a learned person, and you have traveled all over the places. In advance point to before you demolish any construction, what was supposed to be the first thing to do? Is it demolish after competition or competition after demolition? That is number 4. Lastly, Mr. Commissioner, I want to tell you, how do you think we are doing the road of Ogun Standard according to what you said? You said yes. Now I want to remind you from Konobo, Omega, Paso, what's the that one? How many layers is it? How many layers is it going? But remember, the governor said this year that he was short of funds, that the money that he is supposed to use for this one has been used to pay salary. Where do you want to get the money? Lastly, he said he only has this year. He said he has only this year to execute all the projects he has in hand, because by next year there will be a policy, a true campaign. How do you want to do the magic? Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you, Kazim. I'll take it from the last one as I remember them. The Mr. Governor is a politician. I'm not. And hopefully we'll keep working till the last day in office. So we'll probably still have like 2 years till May 2019, sorry. You also talked about the model schools. Yes, the model schools are a very ambitious program which the governor embarked on and is still on. We're very proud of the products of our pilot. That's the ones at Akinyele. Now if I tell you, 10 of those kids have been selected. They have been taken abroad to Germany this summer because they've done so very well. That's what the government desires for every child in Ogun State. It's an expensive venture to get there, and we are working our ways around. That is why maybe all the schools have not started. The quality that you have in those modern schools is what you get in the school like the Waterman, where they pay 5 million per annum. But government cannot charge people that kind of money. So we're working around. That is why you may see a little delay in the implementation. Working around how to get this. We are getting people to finance, to sponsor, and all that. And of course, this will be on track. You asked me where the contractors on Elisha Agonwe Road are. They were in my office exactly on today is Thursday. They were in my office on Tuesday to see me, the MD of the company and the project manager. So we're still in touch with them. They were in my office. But as I speak now, if you go on that road, the Chinese contractor is on the road fixing the bridges, and he has promised that end of July he will fix those roads. Those are the things I can remember, because I think you asked about 6 questions. Sorry, you can take this offline. If you send to Tobi, you will send them to me. I can answer all the questions. Thank you so much, Mr. Kazim, for your concern.
All right, we'll just squeeze in one more call, and that'll be all on the show this morning. We have so many messages we can take. Hello, because of our time. Hello, who's on the line?
Hello?
Yes, good morning. Who's on the line?
Good morning, Tobi.
Good morning.
I'm Kalbi, Olamilekan from Adegbite.
All right, Kalbi, you have
Good
just
morning,
1 minute.
Mr. Works Minister, Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Yeah. You see, you mentioned something about the issue of this allocation of shops to the people at home there.
Yes.
And I want to put it across to you that probably you have not done so well. With those people that are of age. You see, so many complaints were made by these people, and then you are not even ready to listen to them. In the first instance, they took some funds from you, they paid to a particular bank.
Yes.
And then while they were doing so, you collected their money. And then
the onus lies on you to go physically there to probably ask them. I want to put it across to you that you must do this.
Okay.
Hello, because we don't have so much time. Let me quickly answer your question because the station is going to cut us off at 11.
All right. Thank you.
It's not possible, my brother, to go to 30,000 people who live across Ogun State. Some people from Lagos who are also Ogun State apply for this shop. People who live in Ijebu, people apply from everywhere. It's not possible for you to physically visit everybody and say, oh, you're an old person, then you must come down. If I'm going to do that, there are more than 30 people who are old. That means I only give old people the shops on the ground. What you're saying is not practicable. What government has done is realize is that, look, many more people want shops. And of course, we're trying to respond to that. Please, Tobi, I think I need to just, on a final note, my boss is always telling me this. The people we are talking to, especially, do not understand this. So I'll speak in vernacular. Ẹjọ́ pàápàá jùlọ àwọn ìyá wa tí wọ́n tó ń gba shop ẹjọ́ ṣe sùúrù pẹ̀lú wa ìjọba ń ṣe ètò láti kọ́ shops fún wa torí àwọn èèyàn tó fẹ́ gba shop wọ́n ti pọ̀ ju shop tó wà lọ àtẹni tí ò ní shop tẹ́lẹ̀ àtẹni tó ní tẹ́lẹ̀ gbogbo èèyàn ló fẹ́ shop àwọn tó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ títì gan tẹ́lẹ̀ tó ní shop àwọn náà fẹ́ shop nísìn ìjọba ń gbìyànjú láti rí pé àtúnṣe ti nǹkan tó dáa ni kíjọba ṣe nǹkan káwọn èèyàn dẹ̀ kan fẹ́ torí ìjọba lè ṣe kẹ́ ẹlẹ́ẹ̀fẹ́ kò sí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ṣe ṣùgbọ́n inú wa dùn pé ẹ fẹ́ èèyàn púpọ̀ tún fẹ́ sí so ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má bínú sí wa àá tún máa ṣe sí ẹni tó bá rò pé òun ò lè ní sùúrù gómìnà ti sọ pé gbogbo èèyàn tó bá gba fọ́ọ̀mù bóyá ní 10,000 ní o ní 5,000 ní o ní 1,000 ní o wọ́n lè gba owó wọn padà ẹ kàn sáà lọ sí ibi tẹ́ ti gba fọ́ọ̀mù yẹn àwọn kan gbà ní ministry of information àwọn kan gbà ní ministry of commerce àwọn kan gbà ní ministry of works ibi tẹ́ bá ti lọ síbẹ̀ yẹn sọ wọn pé ẹ fẹ́ gbowó yín padà ẹ mú tẹ́là yín wá wọ́n á dẹ̀ ṣètò bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa gba owó yín padà ìjọba ò ní kó owó ènìyàn kan àwọn tó gba ṣọ́ọ̀bù náà ètò ń bọ̀ fún wọn tó fi máa sanwó wọn. Thank you so much.
All right, so that's the Citizens Forum Daybreak Show this beautiful Thursday morning. Thank you for your audience. Thank you for participating. Those who called, those who sent messages. Unfortunately, we're sorry. We want to apologize. We can't accommodate all the calls. Over 65 messages. There's no way we will be able to take all that. And also tweets. Please, maybe tomorrow open day, that will give you an avenue to at least trash many of these issues tomorrow on the open day, because there won't be any guest. All right. Thank you very much for being part of our show. I am Tobi Joseph. Have a wonderful day.